Chapter 16, Unexcused Absence. Hopefully you're all having a great day. As the train surges forward in the darkness, you and Drew stare each other down, the silence between you filling with realization. Thank you? That's all you have to say to me? Enis, he bows his head, heaving out a sigh. A lead weight settles itself in your stomach. Everything between us was just supposed to be casual, you know? Roommates with benefits. And we were, until you started ramping things up. God, Drew, you asked me out on a date. We went to the museum, had a great time. Did I imagine all of that? Of course not. Things between us have only gotten less casual since. So what am I missing? A few nearby passengers look over at the sound of your raised voices before quickly glancing away. You and Drew wince, lowering his voice. Can we talk about this later? Not talking is what got us into this mess in the first place. Why are you denying the feelings that you obviously have for me? Why won't you just be honest with yourself and with me? Anissa, I can't. This is why I told you from the start I don't do relationships. Tell yourself whatever you need to, Drew. Both you and I both know this was meant... It meant something. Whether you want to admit it or not. He starts to say something, but you turn and face the window, ignoring his reflection as you watch the dark underground pass you by. A week later, you're in film class, half listening to Professor Takeda's lecture as the night replays itself over and over again in your head. One of the most important things to consider when writing for films is giving your character flaws. For example, I knew Drew had commitment issues, but the way he's been with me the last few weeks, I thought things might have changed. Glance at the empty desk next to you and sigh. Though I guess not if he'd rather skip class all week to avoid me. Fight the urge to fish out your phone to stare at the lone text message Drew had sent since that night. Staying with Enis, need time to clear my head before we talk. But no matter how much I talk, none of it will sink into you unless you've seen it in action for yourselves, so watch carefully. The lights flicker out, and at the front of the room, Professor Takeda loads up a movie clip. Thanks to all this drama, I'm missing the whole lesson. Come on, Anissa, focus. As the clip starts, you lock your eyes on the screen, intent on paying attention. I can't believe we have to use your college funds to post your bond because of your so-called friends. They thought they were doing the right thing. You call murder the right thing? But in the dark, your eyes find Drew's desk again, and you can't help but miss the brush of his leg against yours. I thought confessing my feelings would go so differently, that he'd feel the same and then show me by it. Your skin warms at the thought of his touch, affirming your feelings, improving in no certain terms, and how much he loves you too. Really? Reimagine the train trip? Really? A voice from the movie briefly catches your attention. Wake up! When are you going to realize you're only seeing what you want to see? And then your thoughts wander, sinking you deep into a better version of the moment you and Drew found yourselves on that train. I'm in love with you, Drew Young. His lips curl into an easy smirk. He leans in, his lips grazing your ear, making you shudder. You have no idea how long I wanted to hear that. Without warning, he backs you into the train doors, his hands clutching your hips as he brings them to meet his own. Because I'm in love with you too, Anissa. The other passengers fade away as Drew gives you a searing kiss, leaving you to revel in his feel of his full lips. You hitch a leg around his waist, and he grips the underside of your thigh, his fingers sneaking up your skirt, toying with the hem of your panties. Don't stop, I need you. The words spur him into a frenzy, finding himself against you as he lavishes kisses on the sensitive skin of your neck. Tell me how you want me. YouTube, so don't stop until I finish. Long story short, there was about a minute of bounce chicka wah wah. Then, the writers misconstrued love with finish me, so Moving on. People have a weird fascination and think that bounce chicka wow wow is love, and but before you can finish your fantasy, the lights flicker back on and your eyes lock with Professor Takeda. That's right, I'm in class and around other people. Now that we've all seen your clips, Anissa, I wonder if you could answer the next question for me. Oh, actually, Professor, give me an example of how filmmakers subverted the main character's development. They played on her loyalty. The main character is billed as loyal to her friends, but the same loyalty blinds her to the truth about them. So you are with us. For a minute there, I wasn't sure. I mean, we kind of picked it up from the beginning of all the bounce chicka wow wow, so, you know. Positive. Everybody's everyday traits can be flaws. They'll make your characters feel more realistic. Take Anissa, for instance. Me. After all, the focus and intensity with which she's typically approaches class are commendable. Until that focus is clearly turned elsewhere. We'll leave it there for today, but keep in mind you'll be expected to include aspects of this lesson in the final draft of your video. Harried, you gather your things and head for the exit, but before you get there, a voice rings out. Anissa, could you hang back for a minute? You approach Takeda's desk with a wince as she shuffles some of her notes into her shoulder bag. Are you and Drew having trouble getting your video clips in? I don't have anything submitted for your last 2 check-ins. I would have thought, given your previous enthusiasm for this class, that you would have handed something in fairly quickly. Right, about that. Drew and I are working through some creative differences. You could say we haven't been on the same page lately. Well, I suggest you get back on the same page and soon. Your final grade will depend on it. In the meantime, send in the clips you'll have. I'll have to dock points for lateness, of course, but anything is better than the zeros you have now. Zeros? Yes! Usually when someone gives you an assignment and you don't fulfill it, you get a 0 because you didn't do anything. I guess you still are the same student. If that thought unsettles you, I suggest you pass the message on to Drew as well. She scoops her bag onto her shoulder and heads for the exit, and you hurry to rush after her. I would, but we're not exactly on speaking terms right now. Maybe you could... Anissa, I don't know what's happening between the two of you, and it's inappropriate for me to speculate, but one thing is clear. Whatever is going on is tanking both of your grades. I suggest you figure it out before I have to fail you. She hurries to the door, and with no other options, you reach for your phone to text Drew, only to find it missing from your book bag. That's weird. I could have sworn I left it in here because it wasn't on my nightstand. You literally remember looking at your phone and the one text he sent you. Your daydreaming just probably made Edwin or someone grab it. You consider heading back to the suite to check, but with Enis' suite on the way, you set out there instead to talk to Drew face to face. At Enis's, you raise your fist only to find you can't bring yourself to knock. Maybe I shouldn't be here. Drew said he needs space, and I don't want to look like I can't take a hint. But also, I don't want to fail the class. I was sure I'd ace this semester. Before you can make up your mind, the door swings open and Enis stares at you from the door frame. See, this is right here. This is exactly why I hate getting in the middle of couples. Enis, thank God. I promise I'll be in and out. I just need to talk to Drew about our project. You step inside, stopping in your tracks as you catch a whiff of Drew's cologne in the air, his presence in the space palpable. Uh-huh. And you're not at all wondering what Drew's been up to, or who he's been up to with. That isn't my business. I'm here because we're about to fail our class together. I thought he might like to know. Damn. When you come with bad news, you don't screw around. If it makes you feel any better, all Drew's been up to all week is sulking, eating all my cereal, and watching TV. Well, then why can't he do that in our suite? There's a possibility of seeing me really so bad he had to hide out here. It's not you. Drew doesn't handle feelings well, but it's obvious he's got them for you. You may need to be patient a little longer if you want him to actually say it. Enis, I told him I loved him, and he didn't say it back. That speaks volumes. Not everybody's ready. Everybody feels things on their own, and just because you feel it doesn't mean someone else should feel it. It's a concept for everyday life. Just because you believe in something doesn't mean you should force other people to believe in it as well. Some people still believe in Santa Claus. Should we all believe in it because they believe in it? You turn to pace the floor, but Enis catches your hand, pulling you back to face her. Life lessons with Locum. That's right. Please don't give up on him. I've seen you two together, and he hasn't looked as happy since... She stops herself, clearly biting back something. And it's something that's keeping a wall between you and Drew. Since when, Enis? What is the big secret, and why won't anybody clue me in? Because it's not my secret to tell, Anissa. I just know that Drew hasn't been this happy in a while. I tried to tell him that while he was still here, but... You mean he's gone? He got a text, raced out of here like his life depended on it. I thought it might have been from you until you showed up. Your phone is missing. Before you can say anything, Enis's bedroom door opens and a beautiful woman steps into the doorway. I hate to interrupt, but do you think I could have my girlfriend back? I'm only in town for the weekend, so I'm a little selfish. Anissa, this is Claudia, my better half, the love of my life, etc., etc. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know Enis had a visitor. Neither did she until a few hours ago. My last class got canceled, so I surprised her. I had to literally beg Edwin to cover my RA duties tonight, but it was more than worth it to be able to do this. She presses a kiss to Claudia's lips. Your heart races. The memory of a carefree kiss you shared with Drew in New York returning with a vengeance. I'll just leave you two to your plans. Out on the quad, you can't help but think about the text message Drew got, and who could have sent it. Drew was too secretive for it to be from Dutch, and he wouldn't have reacted that way to his parents. If he was in as big a funk as Enis said, it would have been someone important to motivate him like that. Nearby, you spot Davina's familiar silhouette sprawled out with a textbook, and texting on her phone, a smile takes over her face. Drew seemed pretty sure he was over Davina, but if she reached out for some fun, would Drew really turn her down? Before you can stop yourself, you head over, and as you approach, Davina looks up from her screen warily. Can I help you? Hey Davina. I'll just cut to the kid chase. Are you texting Drew? Do you know where he is? First of all, I don't have a habit of texting guys who tell me it's not them, it's me. Poor taste is contagious. Secondly, why would Drew text messages concern you? Unless... Realization dawned in her eyes and a slow smile spreads across her face. Oh, baby bird, I guess we're not so different after all. I don't have to explain anything to you, I'll just find Drew myself. So, you're gonna what? Track down all of his conquests and ask who they're texting? Hang out all of his favorite haunts, hope he shows up? And I've been the girl questioning another woman about Drew. It doesn't end well. You think back to the harried look in her eyes the day she cornered you in the bathroom, and then the rage in her eyes at the tailgate. So what am I supposed to do then? Go home. Either he'll be waiting for you there, or he won't. And if he isn't? What if I walk into the suite with my hopes up, only for him to be making some other girl fall in love with him? Then at least you know where you stand. Truer words have never been spoken by her. You nod, but as you turn to head for your suite, your stomach folds itself in a knot. Davina pauses and calls after you. But if it helps, I saw how he looked at you at the soccer game. Wherever he is, whatever he's doing, he's thinking of you. And before Edwin got the phone, I'm telling you, Rena, as you enter the dorm building, you can't help the nervous feeling that swells in your chest. Davina's right, no matter what happens after this, I'll know where Drew and I stand. Always packed with people, you inch your way through, thoughts running a mile a minute, as you head towards your suite. Only to find it overrun with people again. Dude, can you pass me another beer? Oh, turn it up, this is my song. This is why Drew left Enis's to throw a party? It has to be some kind of misunderstanding. Drew hasn't been here all week and now he just randomly throws a party? It just doesn't make sense. Where is he? You look around expecting to see Drew at the heart of the action, but instead you spot him parked in the corner with his guitar. Okay, so he is in on this. What? Okay. I'm just gonna read it and I'm not gonna sing it because the music doesn't work. Now I'm sliding into bed when I should be holding you instead, but I don't want to leave these words unsaid. I tell you how I feel, how things stand now, but when I try, I just don't know how. Our song. As he croons, partygoers whip out their phones, but Drew doesn't seem to notice or care. He just pauses to sip a drink and continues with a line you haven't heard. All alone I think of you, so clever. Can young lovers really do this forever? But when he catches sight of you, his face lights up, and the tension of the week, of your week apart, melts away at the sound of his voice. Anissa. He's across the room in seconds, wrapping you into a hug, swaying slightly. I take it you're happy to see me? You could say that, or I could just... He trails off, bowing his head and brushing his lips against your neck, and as much as you want to give in, you pull back. Drew, what are you doing? Everyone can see us. Let them see I don't care. His hands cup your face, pulling you in close as chaos rages around you. Enis, I only care about you. He shoots you a shy smile. All at once, the moment is nearly everything you wanted it to be. Until the smell of beer wafts over you. Wait, have you been drinking? The second you say it, it's obvious. The swaying, the heavy public affection, the heavy way he leans against you. Drew's smile slips. Don't be mad, I was just nervous. I knew I was going to see you, and I didn't know what to say. He clings to you, suddenly so vulnerable, and you can't help but melt into him. As your eyes sink closed, his hands find your waist, and all you can imagine is a whisper. The great Drew Young, nervous. I never thought I'd see the day. There's nothing great about me without you. Drew, we need to talk. About what happened on the train, us, everything else that happened this week. Then talk to me. We can talk about whatever you want, just don't be mad at me, please. Drew, I know I screwed up on the train, I'm sorry, okay? I never meant to hurt you, and I never should have left you here. Then why did you? And why didn't you come back? It's giving him a drunken, voice is like becoming Captain Jack Sparrow, let's be honest. You stare into his eyes, waiting for an answer, but instead he pulls you close and sways to the music. I want answers, Drew. I deserve them. I know, and I'll tell you everything. Just dance with me. Dance with Drew, even though it's really stupid. Most likely this is going to end in a really bad episode of Choices chapters today. I'm telling you right now, Edwin, is going to... Remember, he's on duty. He thinks Enis is on duty. Come on. With a cautious look around, you pull Drew into his room, closing the door behind both of you, muffling the music outside. Drew stoops in an unsteady bow and offers you his hand. May I have this dance? You may. As you slip your hand over his shoulder, he wraps you in his arms, pressing his face to your hair and breathing you in deep. Despite yourself, you get lost in the feeling of his body against yours, and as Drew leans down and buries his face in your neck, he whispers, I missed you, Anissa. I was here the whole time. You were the one who needed space. Little did I know you meant the entire space-time continuum. I was overwhelmed, okay? I needed time to process everything. And did you? Drew bends you into a back-bending dip, his eyes meeting yours. I did, and I... Before he can finish, a cheer sounds outside the door, and you bolt back up, your eyes glued to the bedroom door. They're getting a little rowdy. We should probably get back out there and... Gently, Drew catches your chin between his fingers and pulls your attention back to him. Unbidden, your eyes flicker to his lips. I'm sure things are fine. What are you so worried about? You scoff, an incredulous smile spreading across your face. You mean besides someone waltzing through the door and catching us? Not a thing. What's the worst that could happen if someone walked in on me doing this? His eyes meet yours as his hand slowly slips past your waist and his fingers graze your backside. You draw in a sharp breath. Let's see. You'd lose your job? Maybe be forced to bend to your parents' will? Lose out on your dream? He nuzzles your neck, cutting you off mid-sentence, and you bite back a moan. Worth it. You call me cocky, but I think you feel the same about me. How can you be so sure? He pulls back to look you in the eye, the smirk you've missed all week curling the corner of his mouth. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here in this room alone with me. Then his lips graze the shell of your ear, and a warmth spreads through you, quickening your breath. Careful. If that ego of yours gets any bigger, it'll burst through the wall, and the whole campus will be able to see us. If only ego. It's only ego if I'm wrong. And I saw how you looked at me. I'm not wrong. You fight back a laugh, and it strikes you how much you've missed his teasing and the feelings of his hands on your body. Drew, hold me closer. If we're going all in, I want to feel all of you. Tightens his grip, pressing himself flush against you. Your heart beats so hard, you're almost certain Drew can feel it too. Better? You have no idea. His eyes meet yours before skimming down your face and focusing on the places where you both met. How could we ever spend that much time apart when we fit together this perfectly? Outside, the music changes to something slower, and Drew's lust-filled eyes bore into you, stoking the fire burning within. How do you do that? Make me want you despite everything? Raw charm, effervescence, je ne sais quoi. He presses his forehead against yours, and you can hardly stand before being so close to him and not doing anything about it. Drew, or maybe all this is just a reflection of how you make me feel. I felt every second I wasn't with you. You place a hand on his cheek, and he nuzzles against your palm, one of his hands coming up to cradle your wrist. Did I mention that I missed you? Once or twice. But I've missed kissing you. Or you could just always go, I missed you too, hun. Any idea how to fix that? One. He leans in close, stopping just shy, pressing your lips together. His breath washes over your face as he whispers, Ladies, don't you love when a drunken guy breathes on you? Wonder what he was drinking, figuring it's a beer. But I'll need your help. Your heart races as your eyes drop to his lips. Then you close the last inch, claiming his mouth with yours. Without hesitation, he stumbles forward, gently pushing you against the bedroom door and kissing you long and hard. I need you to know how I feel about you, Anissa. I can't unless you tell me. You run your hands up his body to his jaw, savoring the feel of his skin beneath your fingers as you pull him into you. Please. Drew leans up against you, his body delicious and warm, but the look in his eyes is distant, and it's only then that you realize what he says aloud. I just can't. Outside, the party rages on, but the two of you freeze, finally break the silence. Then what are we doing here, Drew? Hiding from your friends in your bedroom and yet another one of your impromptu parties? As you gesture around the room, his smile drops, the warmth of his touch cools as he pulls away. Thanks for the heads up, by the way. I get wanting to celebrate coming home, but... Anissa, what are you talking about? I thought you planned this party. Me? No. I wait... As confusion washes over Drew's tipsy face, you open the bedroom door and sneak a peek outside of the room. But there isn't a single face you recognize. You slam the door shut, Enis's words echoing in your ears. I had to beg Edwin to cover my RA duties tonight. Drew, I don't know what's going on, but we've got to get out of here. What? Why? The door bursts open and Edwin rushes in, his eyes lighting up with glee as he spots you and Drew in each other's arms. I told you I'd get ya. That's why. I told you I'd get you. without further ado, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And down in the description of the video, plenty of things to check out there. Without further ado, yeah, nothing really to say besides the obvious here, right? Um, I don't know. I'd like to know Drew's reasoning behind the fact he can't, right? And I know, I'm gonna say it. I get it, everybody's different. So even if he lost someone or whatnot, everybody handles things differently, right? I'm a person who I lost someone that I really cared about, and but you know, I came to heal, I guess, as best as I could over time, and realized that she'd probably want what's best for me, right? She would want me to be happy. She had echoed the sentiment several times while I was with her. Um, if she was still here, life would probably be vastly different, but I also probably would not be doing this content. I probably would have went off and lived my dreams and done things significantly different. So you would have never heard of me, right? Um, I just know there was a whole completely different life planned, okay? But with that being said, in terms of him, I don't know. I don't know. I like I said, I get it. Everybody struggles with the whole "I love you," or at least not everybody struggles. Most people struggle though. They have to feel it, or at least some people do. Um, it's hard to talk about yourself, but yet you try and think about other people, and some of them share your views and what you do, and who's a what's it, and the whens and wheres. But yeah, I don't know. I guess we're just gonna have to see. But really, no surprise. My only thing is, um, it's this whole situation, this whole scenario was just very poorly done, right? So the fact of the matter is, just TLDR, she lost her phone. She was looking at it, what? Let's just say 10 minutes earlier. You're telling me, like, you can't remember the fact that you were looking at your phone 10 minutes earlier and then you started daydreaming. I mean, clearly everybody in the class knew you were, daydreaming or whatnot during a dark movie session, so who knows. But, um, you know, you're telling me you wouldn't go home and try and locate your phone? You wouldn't use common sense? You wouldn't, like, I don't know. There's literally find a phone apps and things for, your computer and all this other shit. Like, come on. Like, it just, I'm tired, and I know a lot of people share the same sentiment. I'm tired of having really stupid main characters. Like, we're not all this stupid. I can honestly say, most of you are watching are not honestly this stupid. Okay, that's what I value about this community and everything else. Like, a lot of you are very open-minded, bright-eyed individuals that at least can, have enough ability to rub two coins together. Let's put it that way, okay? Versus a lot of the people I know, it's pretty bad. With that being said, yeah, no, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, I value your opinion, I value your input, I value all that. But yeah, I'm gonna head out. Catch you all later, doing more chapters. Peace out.